Hi, this is a material to teach the clock concept, which is an important aspect of time. So the child learns how an analog clock works. They would have heard how um, the talking watches work. They would have heard the clocks tick. But to understand how the hands in a clock move, how many numbers are there, when you tell a time, how do the hands move, and correspondingly, how do you tell the time? So these are incidentally learned by sighted children, and of course taught in schools as well. But for somebody who is visually impaired, this becomes an additional knowledge also for orientation mobility when they where they learn clock face based on the so they learn clock face to understand directions that are not just left, right, front, back. Okay, intermediate directions are communicated using clock faces, and learning clock, the movement of hands in a clock uh, becomes crucial there. So let's see what we have here. We have a braille and large print clock with movable hands, and we have a clock puzzle again with mobile hands, and then the numbers in the clock are in the shape of are in different shape insets, so you could actually insert various shapes into these places. So we have a box with 3D shapes, so which go into these numbers. So it can be played as a puzzle when the child is very young. Ask the child to simply put these and then tell the position from 12. So that way they are also learning each of these numbers positions. So that's how they put the puzzle. And you have two movable hands, minute hand and an hour hand. So bring them both together so you know one is shorter than the other, and you tell them the shorter one is the hour hand and the longer one is the minute hand. So while when you're beginning, at the beginning you teach only the movement of the hour. Like for example, you teach 12 o'clock with both the hands together, and then let the minute hand be there. Just move the hour hand to show how 1 o'clock is, and how 2 o'clock is, how 3 o'clock is, and so on. So after teaching the complete hour is when you could teach the minute concepts. So start by telling that between any two numbers, you will have to count in fives. So the child probably or at the same time would be learning counting in fives, like 5, 10, 15, 20. Right? So there you tell the intermediate numbers in mind and tell 5, 10, 15, 20 aloud. So you say from 12 you start and you say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 aloud, and then by then you come to the 1 o'clock position, and then two, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10 aloud and point at 2. So that way you're counting in fives and then moving the hands, the our hand, accordingly from one place to the other. So by the time you come back to 12, it is 60. So the child understands that one full circle takes 60 minutes, and that is when the hour hand moves from 1 hour to the second hour, you know. So these have to be taught um, based on the understanding level of the child. After that comes setting both minute hand and hour hand. So you say 12 o'clock is when hands are together, 12:30 is when the minute hand is at 6. So you count 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30, and you set it at 12:30. And the hour hand would have moved little away. It is in between 12 and 1, because 60 is 1 full hour. So this is half of that. So it is somewhere in the middle. Okay. So 12, 12:30, and then you again say 1, 1:30. So 2, 2:30. So you teach them these concepts. So it's all sequential. Post that, you teach them the intermediate ones, like the 12:20s and the 3:45s, etc. Okay. And again, movement of the hour hand, you could teach them based on the understanding that they have. Okay, because 12:45, for example, is, or 12:55 is when the hour hand is no more at 12. It is so close to 1 that you tend to say 1:55, because the hour hand is pointing at 1, right? So so these confusions have to be clarified as well. So it's good if the child comes up with um, you know statements like this. Then the other clock doesn't have a puzzle, but you could just use it for learning or setting numbers. You could ask the child to set 12:30, and the child sets 12:30. Then you set 2:50, and the child has to read 2:50. Okay, this also has braille, so the child can read the braille and understand the clock as well. Okay. And another important part, which is not there in both these clocks, is a second concept. The ticking sound of the clock, which is there probably at home, will give an idea of how long a second is, right? So that such a beautiful concept, that many children may not even know how, you know what is the duration of a second. So they may say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that is how a second is. So it's good to rhythmically understand by listening to the ticking of a clock. Tuck, 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 tuck. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So that way. So that way, as the child learns the seconds, we could play a game where uh, you walk from one corner of the classroom to the other and start counting in seconds. Let's see who takes longer time to go across a wall. So, something like that can be played as well. Okay, so there are a lot of things that can be explored. Thank you.